What's going on? It's PHNX Cardinals. Bo Brack hanging out with you. The award-winning producer, our guy, Damon, Dawg. Where's Johnny Venerable? He's taking some well-deserved time off. It's the guy. It's Donnie Donuts. It's Donnie Druin. He joins us here on this edition of the show. Excited about that one. I see the super chats already in full force. What's up, Shafe Wilson? How about Ghost to Pat Tilley? Chase, Ozzy 221, Ollie, Jess, what's going on? Excited to talk to everybody. Hit that like button immediately. This is going to be a fun episode because we're going to get into some Arizona Cardinals breakout candidates. Yeah, as we nearly turn the calendar to June, nearly dead season. Donnie, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I feel like every time I see this beautiful studio, right, it just popped up on my YouTube homepage. I'm like, screw that, and then I'll go on to the next video. But
come on, you don't mean that.
I'm subscribed like everybody else should be right here.
You probably have a burner. You're probably in the chat. One of the many that roast me, Johnny, and Damon on a regular basis.
I'm not going to tell you if I'm in the Discord, actually.
Okay, all right, yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Marv saying Donnie, yo. I already saw somebody call you Donnie Donuts. It was Joel in the chat saying Donnie Donuts. Yeah, it's because man became infamous. Tried to be a good kind of neighbor, coworker, colleague. Showed up to the first day of Arizona Cardinals OTAs. Brought a big box of, was it Duncan? Was it Bosa? Which one was it?
They're not paying us.
Just tell me which.
Bosa.
Did our sales guy Max get a hold of you before you got in here?
My God,
I'm PR trained, man.
I haven't heard that kind of no free ad speaks other than Max Simpson in this office in a long time.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
What's that? He just no free ads to us right now. Donnie did.
What's the contact? Give the guy first.
Go ahead, Bo.
I mean, Max, our sales guy, his ears were burning. He had to jump in here, and he has to give props to our guest co-host Donnie Druin for saying, hey, it doesn't matter what donut company it was that I brought to Cardinals OTAs.
That's fair.
All that matters is Donnie's.
We'll talk after. I got you.
Donnie's big heart was ripped out of his chest cavity.
3 feet from me. 3 feet. I'm sitting right next to you.
That's
too.
right.
Yeah.
By the culture changer himself, Jonathan Gannon. Damon, do we have the tape? Can we see when Donnie's life exited his body? After he thought he was doing a tremendously good thing that you think would be just a layup, just good move, good vibe for 2024 Arizona Cardinals OTAs?
Nice. No, I'm not a donut guy. That's non-winning behavior in our building. What's going on? Happy Friday.
It's just, just a little salt in the wound. What can you take us through that, like step by step? I mean, here comes Gannon.
Mm-hmm.
He lets us know that he knows there's donuts in the room. And you're like, all right, I did it. I
made it big. No. This dates back to the week prior where I told Jocelyn, part of the media relations department, hey, like I want to do something nice for everybody. Yeah. How do you guys feel about donuts? Have you had Bosa donuts? And she's like, no, I've never had Bosa donuts. I think you told me you had never had Bosa donuts whenever we were discussing the week prior. So I'm like, now I have to.
No, I would be a big liar if I told you that. There's a Bosa donuts like 20 yards from me.
And I could throw a rock at it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I brought it in thinking, I don't know how Gannon heard.
Yeah.
Either Chris or Mark, either one of the two would have had to let him know because it wasn't in eyesight of him whenever he walked in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he came in and you're like, all right, and you go through this emotional roller coaster where you're at the top of the world. And then he says it's not a winning.
Do you want to hear the worst part? I didn't even have a donut.
Yeah.
I didn't eat a single one of those donuts.
The worst part is basically Gannon, crushing.
I try to play it off.
Donuts.
Never mind.
And that's.
He's a bagel guy. That's cool. That's fine.
And is the origin story of our guy Donnie Donuts. It it was a great day. I had a good laugh. The entire Cardinals media contingent, we loved it as well. But we also love the great work that you do. You churn out content there, si.com, where you can go find Suns content, Cards content, all from this man right here, Double D, Donnie Druin. You've got a great article up there today. One of your more recent pieces was, one of the Cardinals' strengths and weaknesses, where you look at the run game and then you look at, the defense. I wanted to tap into that as well. But I also want to get into some breakout candidates because you and I are out there. We're watching OTAs. There's, of course, the open portion. Then there's the closed portion where we kind of get to see some things that we can't report, but, helps us understand, which direction the Arizona Cardinals are going in certain places. But there's a lot. Let's just kind of start here. You like us here at PHNX, you were out in the Indy, you were kind of on the road with this team. You saw this second offseason under this new regime. What's your main takeaways, I guess, from this Cardinals offseason?
Yeah, things are changing, and I know everybody seems to really love their team in the offseason, Bo, but even for somebody like you who had been there for the Cliff Kingsbury years and had seen Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenfort walk into the organization, it feels different. And I feel like 2023 was not a throwaway year, but you kind of expected them to not be all that great. Kyler Murray, missing over half of the season. Everything that had went into the 4-13 season had accrued, and we get into the offseason and it's like, okay, they had a great draft. They did what they needed to do last year, but can they take that next step? And Bo, as I sit here with you today and my dog, Eric behind it, sorry, Damon Dog.
The dog.
Excuse me, Damon Dog. The Cardinals, I feel like, are night and day better, and I feel like they're only going to continue to grow from here. But I feel like now there might, I don't want to say pressure, but you can't win 4 games again, right? You added the pieces around Kyler. Kyler's healthy. You have another full offseason with Petzing, with Rallis. Now you got to go win a couple more games.
Yeah, now the expectations rise, right? And we'll see how Gannon, how his top assistants, and Drew Petzing, their offensive coordinator, and Nick Rallis on the defensive side of the football, how they respond. Like, the same went for Monty Ossenfort. And I think Monty Ossenfort has answered, some of those questions we had remaining. Like, we found out Monty Ossenfort can deconstruct a bad football team. Like, and it's like not the hardest thing, but he took it down to the studs and then laid the groundwork to do what he did this offseason. It's like, okay, what is Monty Ossenfort? We didn't get a glimpse of this last year. How does he aggressively go out to the free agent market? How's he going to spend free agent dollars? How's he going to spend cap money that he was able to kind of create by getting rid of some of the former players from the Steve Keim roster? And then what's he going to do with all this draft capital? We had a decent idea. We saw how he spent some of his top picks. He took premium positions, and then he pivoted a little bit in this draft. He's taken a tight end in the top 100 pick and Tip Ryman.
Love that pick.
You love Tip?
I love Tip.
That's going to be refreshing to all the tipsters out there, because this show was kind of anti the selection as far as the positional value at the time, 82nd overall. Why do you love Tip?
For a run-first offense that will definitely get things going through the likes of James Conner, through Trey Benson, now through a healthy Kyler Murray. They love to run the football. Everything else they are going to do predicates off of them establishing the run and winning those early downs, right? So you lose Jeff Swaim, arguably your top run-blocking tight end. I know with Trey McBride here, a lot of people didn't love the pick, especially when there were a couple more other quote-unquote needs along the roster. But Tip, the best run-blocking tight end in the draft, he's crazy athletic, as we've seen already a handful of times in OTAs. I mean, Tip exactly fits what you're looking for, replacing Jeff Swaim. They love to run the football. They're going to run the football. They need a mauler with Tip. Bo, you and I sat in that press conference room where Tip was like, God gave me the ability to put people in the dirt, and I'm going to honor him by doing that. That is psycho. And I need 90 Tip Raymonds on my football team. Like, you
want 9? That's the type of that you're a football guy. You're like, give me 90 of those guys, cut it down to 53, give me 11 on offense, give me 11 on defense, give them 11 on special teams. I appreciate that. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, we know what his role is, right? Meet me in the C gap. I'm going to control that part.
Have fun.
I'm going to block. But like 82nd overall, I thought, look, this is a roster that still is adding pieces, adding talent. And I thought they were going to go the route of continue to go premium positions, looking at the edge. But look, if the guy's got an ability to like this all becomes a moot point once the season starts. Tip Ryman becomes tight end 2. We saw, we've seen this team go not only just, from to 12 personnel to 13 personnel where they've got 3 tight ends on the field. It makes sense. But I just thought like draft slot value, it was a bit rich.
Totally get it. But at the end of the day, what's their bread and butter? Running the football.
Yeah.
They lost their knife last year. They got it back in Tip. And let's not act like the depth behind Trey McBride was phenomenal as well. God forbid something happened to Trey during the season. They were left with me and you on the depth chart.
Yeah. It's tough time. Times are tough. Fishbowl Flash jumping in. Donnie Donuts. We should get into some of these super chats as well. Appreciate everybody spending their money. Cardi D. Looks like you got the first tweet super chat of the morning. Wins that little contest that's been ongoing. Super chat deleted with early upcoming vid ? Frowny emoji. I don't know what happened. Damon,
I'm guessing that a stream got made in the morning on StreamYard, and then with the switch over to doing it in studio, that stream got deleted. So Cardi D sent just kind of one up into the ether there.
So you just lit some money on fire.
I think we probably still get it, but maybe we just don't get to shout him out for it.
Okay.
For that, we apologize.
Cardi D. We will we'll make that right. You put any chat, anything you want in the chat, and we'll read it free of charge. Right? That's the only way I feel like we can make things right
That's
here.
Fair.
I like
PHNX
this
promise.
Yeah, I like this username. Big Red 6. His pick is Johnny Venerable. Very fresh faced Johnny Venerable. I don't know where he got this. Is this from Johnny's like Illinois State college ID?
I'm pretty sure it's like his like professional picture.
No way. Yeah. Okay. But he's got Johnny Venerable, and he's surrounded by glizzies because he's going to be the glizzy king here in our 999 challenge. One day closer to rocking my MHJT LFG. Excited as well. The 18 collection. Donnie, have you seen this? Our 18 collection.
Okay, very subjective because I know we work for different companies. Those shirts look sick.
Yeah,
those are awesome shirts.
Thank you for being able to be the bigger man and
support
a different brand, and that's why we have you on this program right now. How about this? This is a huge honor. Donuts are shitbag mafia approved. This is Saint Shitbag.
Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I've been holding back.
Let's not go crazy here.
Okay, sure.
I mean, just go earmuffs for the children in the room and make sure that they know what's coming. You do have kind of a sailor's mouth. Staying with our buddy Saint Shitbag. $4.99 super chat. The draft becomes a lot more fun when your GM isn't making picks. From the previous regime.
No, finish it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not going down that route. But look, it's been refreshing to see an adult at the helm of the Arizona Cardinals. Not only reshaping this roster, but making winning decisions come those 3 days at the end of April. And infusing this roster with talent. I mean, 13 first-year players last year. You had 12 more this year, 15 if you count the undrafted rookie free agents. You had another piece. Like I said, Donnie churns out probably the most Cardinals written content in the Valley. I don't think I'm. I think that's legit.
A lot of it's aggregation sometimes, but it's the dog days of summer, so got to do what you got to do.
But Xavier Weaver, you wrote a piece on the undrafted rookie free agent wide receiver out of Colorado. You been excited about him?
We'll see, man. It's definitely a tough race for wide receiver spots in the roster. Obviously, you got Marv, Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch, Zay Jones. Now, by the way, I'm so curious to see where Zay Jones kind of ends up, and we can maybe get into the breakout candidates. You can send me yours, so I'm curious to see who yours are. But Xavier Weaver, I mean, a big, tall, fast guy, which is almost a polar opposite of what they had last year. Right? Yeah. So I think there was a very conceited effort to get big guys who can run on the program, and Xavier Weaver is pretty solid for, I feel like, a flyer, right?
He was a guy that they spent a lot of guaranteed money on the undrafted rookie free agent streets, like $250,000 guaranteed towards his salary, like bonus money. I think he probably, relative to NFL rookies or just the NFL, he didn't make that much bonus, but. I mean, this was pre-Zay Jones, though. I mean, I think that this was a player that they identified that they thought, okay, he could probably contribute not only to the receiver room, but also on special teams.
No, back to your Austin Fort point, though, really quick. I mean, he's really done things the right way, and I think that's why I'm such a big fan of him. It would have been very easy, especially in a production-based league where you really need to start winning sooner rather than later, for him to maybe even convince himself that, hey, this ship can be turned around probably quicker than, initially thought. And, props to him and everybody else for really stripping this thing down, rebuilding the right way. And 2023 sucked. I think 2024 will be a little bit better, but man, like I can't remember a more exciting time. Obviously, sub the 2015
right.
season.
I mean, coming off back-to-back 4-win seasons.
There's energy in the valley.
Yeah.
And that's so exciting.
Yeah, no, it is. It absolutely is. And I think that's why the NFL remains king is the ability to each and every year. I mean, it happens. It's inevitable. Like a team that's at the bottom of the standings or in their respective divisions can make the rise from, cellar dweller to, contender. I mean, it's happened. I mean, we've seen the 49ers one year, they're picking one selection behind the Arizona Cardinals, and then they're playing the final game of the season in the Super Bowl.
Yep, the Houston Texans last year.
Houston Texans, absolutely. And I think that the Texans would be more in line with where the Cardinals are roster-wise, where they were truly devoid of talent, where I think, the Niners, they had iffy quarterback play back then and then got some consistency after that and had a roster kind of in place, where I think the Cardinals – like they would have to have a lot of things go right like Houston did last year, but they've got the key components in place, right? They've got the good, architect and Austin Fort like Caserio. They got the head coach and Jonathan Gannon like they have with D'Amico Ryans, and they got the quarterback in Kyler Murray.
Yep.
That's been a huge topic of discussion. We kind of got an impromptu, Kyler Murray waxing poetic session from Jonathan Gannon yesterday.
Yeah, he did. And James Conner even touched on it a little bit too.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on K1, the leader of this Cardinals team?
I think he has grown night and day. I don't want to point to the injuries, kind of the turning point, but I feel like with the new regime, with people who have really stepped into the building and believed in him from day one.
Yeah.
And it's so easy for it because you hear coach talk and you hear GM talk. He's our guy. We heard that about Josh Rosen before they went and drafted Kyler Murray #1 overall a few months later. When Jonathan Gannon hits the microphone, when Monty Austin Fort hits the microphone and he says, Kyler Murray is our guy, you believe it. You honestly believe it. And Bo, I do not think it's a coincidence. Steve Keim and Cliff left, and we've had no negative reports about Kyler.
Right.
None.
They were able to kind of flex tape the leaks that were coming out of this organization after those two exited. I think one more than the other. I would probably say Cliff wasn't, guilty necessarily of that so much as the former GM.
Sure.
But regardless, I mean, it's nice that the organization is plays things a little bit closer to the vest, is respectful to their players, and understand that, if Kyler Murray's success means success for them, which was so interesting. Like I was talking to Johnny about it yesterday. It's just like, it was fascinating to see two people who had so much hitched to their quarterback. What's up? Is it Donnie Donuts jumping in as far as the super chat? Is he joined Schleiman Schlag and Blow Brock and Bronny Venerable? Unbelievable. Love to see your alter ego Donnie Donuts jump in $4.99 super chat. How about that? Never hang out with Blow Brock. He gave me Bosa donuts laced with OGs. I don't know how that's an issue. That is not winning mentality. That is Zaza mentality on God. Donut anyone?
Am I being pranked right now? Is this a joke?
Look, welcome to the lore of this show.
Yes, man.
Welcome to the big leagues, Donnie Druin.
There needs to be like an after-hours show with this. Oh my gosh.
Sometimes adventures that way. Harmony with the laughing emoji. Jess, LOL. Merv, LMAO.
Who would want to make a fake account of me?
It happens on a daily basis.
Does it?
Yeah. This is not rare.
There's multiple of me.
Yeah.
There's multiple of Bo, I'm pretty sure. And then Johnny, typically there's not a whole lot of like fake Johnnies, but everybody changes their profile to just a random picture of Johnny on any given day.
Okay.
Like Chase here with his donut picture of Johnny's glizzy and beer situation.
That was actually our initial 999 conversation. We turned off the mics. We all parted our ways after work, and then Johnny immediately sent us that pic that Chase has, where it's just an ice cold Bud Light and a glizzy on a paper plate.
Can we actually get the 999 challenge going? Like for
Yeah.
media,
Oh yeah, it's
please?
absolutely happening. We're
Cool.
just trying to find the most, I guess, most disgusting Arizona Diamondbacks game we could possibly attend, and where the stakes are as low as possible.
Dodgers.
Not
Let's
Dodgers.
go. Let's go.
Not Dodgers.
Let's go, baby. Fire it up.
We found a time when they either play the Angels or the White Sox.
Okay.
It's just two bottom feeders, two cellar dwellers.
Okay.
And we'll go spend 9 innings where we don't really have to watch ball and just focus on putting down some cold ones and some glizzies.
Yeah.
Are you a big hot dog guy?
They're okay.
Yeah,
I mean they're okay. I'm more of a burger guy, but who doesn't love a good Frank at the ballpark?
That's true.
Who doesn't love 9 Franks at the ballpark with 9 beers and 9 innings, right?
Just saying, alter ego fake account. You are welcome to this show. That is true. That's your rite of passage here on PHNX Cardinals. So Donnie Donuts jumping back in, $1.99 super chat. You think this is bad? Wait till OG's Flavor and Fridays.
What's OG's?
OG's is
Am I old?
No, it's an Arizona cannabis gummy kitchen.
One of your sponsors.
Yeah, it's one of our partners.
Right. That's right.
You're getting it. There you're getting it. Speaking of our sponsors, let's get into this. How about before we get into our breakout candidates, let's get into this conversation about Butcher Box. You were talking about hot dogs. You're more of a burger guy. Well, you can order some. You can get some great grass-fed beef burgers sent right to your doorstep, Donnie Druin. You can also get yourself some steaks. How about some fillets, New York strip steak? I made the mistake of asking Johnny what his favorite cut of meat is. What's yours?
My favorite cut of meat.
Yeah.
If it free choice, anything?
Yeah.
Hard to beat a really good ribeye.
There you go. That's a
man of principle, a man of a man. Just straight up a man,
right.
not a little boy child, you know?
A man of taste, right?
What did Johnny say?
He said, I said, what's your favorite cut of meat? And he said, burger. I know, insane answer. It's an insane answer, but that's what we work with each and every day here on PHNX. You don't have to, I mean, if it is a burger, if it's a delicious burger, you can't go wrong with what Butcher Box is going to send right to your doorstep. And it's more than that. How about poultry? How about some great pork? How about pork ribs? Delicious. Seafood. And there's no antibiotics, no hormones, and it's all humanely raised. And it's going to be delivered right to your doorstep. Free shipping always. Don't miss out on this. Curated, customized box plans. You get free meat, $20 off. Use the link butcherbox.com/PHNX. That's butcherbox.com/PHNX. Use the promo code PHNX and you get that deal, $20 off and free meat. Don't miss out. Get in on Butcher Box today. Also got to tell you, you like to throw down some shekels. You like to get a little action out there, maybe on some sports betting.
I've been known to.
Yeah.
I'm more of a social gambler.
More of a social gambler. Well, if you are, look no further than our friends over at BetMGM. We love BetMGM. If you haven't signed up yet, Donnie,
I have not.
You can get your first bet offer of $1,500. That's right. All you have to do is download the BetMGM app right now and use the code PHNX when you sign up. This is perfect. And you can get in on the Grand Slam Jackpot promotion right now. It's where a weekly bet, you get $10. You make a wager on any player to hit a home run every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If that player hits a Grand Slam on that day, they can win up to $50,000 in daily prizes and share the prize with every other winning bettor. So say you pick, Corbin Carroll, who had 3 hits today, Damon, if he's able to kind of knock one out of the park with the bases juiced, you would split it with, other people who also made that bet as well. It's that simple. Download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android, or visit BetMGM.com. Sign up, deposit at least $10. That's all. It's going to get you into it at BetMGM Sportsbook into your account. Place that first wager and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets, even if the bet loses. So you're a winner no matter what. Sign up. BetMGM. Use the bonus code PHNX. Place your first bet, the BetMGM Sportsbook wager, through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app. For at least $10, you'll receive up to $1,500 bonus bets if your bet loses. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to our guy Shane talk about it in the disclaimer.
Bonus bets expire in 7 days. One new customer offer only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY, 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
That's right. Chat calling Shane Beer Boy. Thank you, Mike A. I like Donnie. He's very animated. He's welcome back.
I appreciate that.
That's
no,
nice.
the PHNX crew has always had a wonderful crowd, so it's good to actually be a part of it. For
Very
once.
welcoming. That's what many people say about our listeners.
I've been called worse. I've been called a lot worse.
Very,
man. I'll take
very welcoming. All right, let's get into our breakout candidates. This is fun. Something I tasked Donnie with early this morning. He says, "What are we talking about?" I just thought, there's a lot of people you're excited about with this Arizona Cardinals team. Kyler Murray, we just discussed him a little bit. Marvin Harrison Jr., who I think could qualify for a breakout, coming from the collegiate level, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't want to go chalk. We want to get a little bit more in depth. We want to get more kind of sicko mentality. And you went real sicko mentality. I did. Yeah, you put on you put on your gloves and you put on your work boots and you went to work on this one. Damon, let's get into some of our breakouts. Donnie, the floor is yours. Do we have these split up in offense and defense?
Yeah. Which one do you want to go with first, offense or defense?
Offense. We'll take the ball. We're going to score.
All right. What have you done to Damon? There he is.
I labeled them very in an inefficient way, so it was hard for me to tell which one was which.
Yeah, well, let's talk the big dog is up front, right? I mean, when you think of breakout candidates, you think of skill position players, and probably rightfully so. 4 out of 5 spots on the offensive line are pretty much concrete, except for one, that is left guard. And there's a couple candidates. There's Elijah Wilkinson. There's Evan Brown. Isaiah Adams might be a player to watch there, too, as training camp kind of evolves. I think Evan Brown, Bo, we've been at the facility the last couple of weeks. Everybody and their mother has raved about Evan Brown, how strong he is, how quick, how agile, how intelligent he is. Mm-hmm. I don't think any of those characteristics were really part of what the left guard was for the Arizona Cardinals. Last year, they signed Brown in for agency. This past season, at least 12 starts in the last 3 years, started the games at both guard and center. He's a versatile guy who can do a little bit of everything. I don't think he's going to be a Pro Bowler. I don't think he's going to be this great signing that, we're all going to look back a year on. Oh, man, how did they get him for whatever they did? But at the end of the day, they need a starting left guard, and I think this guy can be that and even a little bit more.
Yeah. Who was it? Was it Paris Johnson Jr. that said he looks like SpongeBob?
Yes. He was built like SpongeBob or a Roblox character.
Which is, I think that's a compliment. But, I mean, we talked to Yelda Froholt, the team's starting center, a guy whose workouts are legendary in the gym, in the weight room for the Cardinals. And he said that Evan Brown is pissing him off with how strong he is, right?
Yeah, he's a big boy.
So to know that guy's that strong, he's got, obviously the experience and that he's versatile and he can slide over, play some center. And he could probably play both guard spots. It's what the Cardinals are looking for. And I know that there's a lot of excitement about an Isaiah Adams. I think that the fan base would be a little hesitant to see maybe they go with the status quo, like an Elijah Wilkinson from the previous season.
So I know Wilkinson didn't really impress, but he was one of the few guys that got brought back as a free agent, and he did have starting experience. That's not the only reason why I throw his name out there. And I know some people really want John Gaines, the draft pick from last year, to kind of throw his hat in the ring. I think he might be a little bit more of a center in Gannon's mind, but he's coming off that season-ending injury. I think he's a little bit more behind the 8 ball than we might really want to talk about.
I mean, we've been out there now. This is the second session of OTAs. We're a couple weeks away from mandatory, and we haven't seen Gaines be able to suit up yet.
Correct.
It still seems like he's far away from being able to contribute. And Gannon had said going into last season they're going to lean into his versatility.
They do really like him.
They do. I don't doubt that.
Really
I don't doubt that. But I think they like him as a depth piece. And I think when you're looking at you're starting left guard, and now you've got a brand new left tackle. You got Paris Johnson Jr. who's going to play his first season in a pro over there, which is a good thing overall, an overwhelming positive. To put a veteran like Evan Brown next to him, I think that's the right move. I mean, that's your Will Hernandez equivalent on that side of the line of scrimmage.
I would completely agree. And you talk about putting your 5 best out there. They already have their 4. And whenever I look at the remaining possible starting offensive lineman, for me, it's Evan Brown.
Yeah, and who's ingratiated himself, like, of the new players into that offensive line already. I mean, you're hearing Evan Brown's name quite a bit. So that's Donnie Druin's offensive breakout candidate for the Arizona Cardinals. Like I said, very lunch pail going interior offensive line. I went a little sexier. I went with a wide receiver. I went with a guy that is raising some eyebrows out there. Can you guess who it is?
Is it friend of the show, Greg Dortch?
It's close. I considered Greg Dortch. I think he's going to be in a good spot to put up some big time stats. But I'm talking about second-year wide receiver Michael Wilson.
Fired up. I love this kid.
Doesn't he look amazing right now in OTAs from even just a portion that you and I can report on? I mean, he looks great out there. I mean, as far as how he's out there running routes, it seems like on the side yesterday, position groups were warming up. He's out there catching balls from Kyler Murray. It's him and Kyler.
Yep.
It's him and K1. You see Kyler over at Saguaro High School. Who's he throwing passes to? Big Mike Wilson. There he is, 24 years old. Last year, this is his rookie stats. 38 catches for 565 yards in 13 games played and 3 touchdowns. We talked to Michael Wilson, Donnie, at draft night, and he said, whatever number you want to predict for me, the biggest key is if I play 17 games. Like if I get to 17 games, I feel like I can cash on any number you're going to predict for me, whether it's like 1,000 yards, it's 1,100 yards, 1,200 yards. He feels very confident that he can get there, and so do I.
No, 100%. I think when you look at what he did his rookie season, so promising. He was one of their few big-bodied guy, a really good contested catch guy who's able to get open too. Yeah. It's not the only thing he's able to do. He's able to do a little bit of everything, and it looked like he only gotten stronger.
Yeah,
through the offseason. Last year from whenever we saw him a little bit at OTAs to the pictures a team posted where he's just looked jacked, throwing up heavy weight like it's nothing. I mean, you already said it best, Bo. If he can stay healthy, if he can play 17 games, I think the sky's the limit. And I mean, they got Maserati Marv on the other side getting double teams for him. So the plate's going to be there. It's up to him if he's going to eat.
I think with all these guys, and you mentioned Dortch, I think the case with Marv and Trey McBride, like it's going to be quality over quantity. Like you're not going to see huge target shares for any of these guys, but you're going to see guys who are able to be very efficient because I think they're going to have a little bit more open space. Mm-hmm. There's going to be more separation. Dortch already gets that. But like between Marv, Trey, and Michael Wilson, like if they see, let's say you spread the ball around and they're all seeing, anywhere from 7 to 10 targets, I think they're going to haul in most of those targets. You're going to see a very accurate Kyler Murray, and you're going to see a high completion percentage.
I think that's why I'm so excited for Kyler moving into 2024 is that there's this array of weapons, right? Yeah. Whenever they choose not to run the ball, Trey McBride, Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch, Zay Jones, Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, he's not going to feel the need to force the ball, or at least downfield, intermediate or short. I mean, there's going to be options for him aplenty. And like JG said a little bit earlier this week, if it's not there, he's one of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL. He can take off. Mm-hmm. And I just think the dynamic that Kyler brings on top of the weapons around him, I'm so excited to watch this come to fruition.
A lot of the chat kind of echoing what you said, what I believe as well, and what Michael Wilson is kind of what Gannon says a lot about of his players. They're all self-aware. Yeah. Like his biggest thing, he knows he needs to stay healthy. I agree with this. 90 targets, 70 catches, just about over 1,000 yards receiving, just under 1,100. I think that's right on. That's right on. When you looked at his numbers last year, I mean, he was just over like 48 yards per game or 46 yards per game. And if he had played a full 17-game season, he would have been right around 900. So you add an extra 15, 20 yards per game, which I think is pretty reasonable, pretty conservative. I think Michael Wilson's getting in there at right around 1,000-yard receiver.
I would say so, but this all comes back to him being healthy, and I love how somebody in the chat pointed out the best ability is availability, and that was a big thing for him coming out of Stanford, too. That's a little bit of why his draft stock fell so low. Went to the Senior Bowl, had a good week there, and we kind of saw him rise. So Mike, on and off the field, is a really great guy. Obviously, we're all rooting for him, but man, is he talented. I just want to see him capitalize on it so bad. Yeah.
Let's get to our defensive breakout candidates. As Andy kindly says, just our defense sucks. Let's see who needs to step up and break out in order for this defense to potentially overachieve. Go ahead, Donnie. You're our guest.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I feel like I am one day away from going door to door here in Arizona and preaching the gospel of Kaiser White. Kaiser White was without a doubt the heart and soul of this defense. No offense to Buda Baker, because obviously he's in his own tier, his own echelon. Kaiser White was a dog in the front seven. The fact that he tore his biceps not even 11 full weeks into the season and still led the team in tackles at the end of the year, that is sicko stuff. That is absolutely wild. He was everything you wanted. I mean, 90 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 pass breakups, 1 interception. He did a little bit of everything. He was a leader, and Jonathan Gannon didn't want to say it during the regular season, Bo. I don't know if you remember this, but after the season, he was asked about Kaiser White, and he said, yeah, that was a really tough spot for us to fill. Yeah. And I think that just speaks leaps and bounds. So if Kaiser White can stay healthy, I think he's going to put up even better numbers, and maybe just maybe he'll get a little bit more respect from the national media.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly possible with a healthier season. Like the bicep tear is such a freak injury. We saw the Cardinals lose 3 players to that injury, 2 defensive linemen, and then Kaiser White. It was like you saw like that was kind of the last straw for the defense. Yep. They just couldn't slow anybody down from that point forward. Like you had Chris Barnes and
Josh Woods
filling in as best as they could. And Barnes is back and Woods is not. And I think Woods is probably more of a special teamer, more so. That's his strength than a starting linebacker. But absolutely agree, because you're White. Like he does have an opportunity to continue to build on to his early legacy here and continue to be the coach on the field but still play at a high level. Let's go to my defensive breakout candidate here, where we got BJ Ojulari. I saw that in the chat. Zaven, BJ. I went back and forth. I talked to Dennis Gardeck. You were there too yesterday. I asked him about these 2 players, but Ojulari, young, 22 years old. He was coming off a knee procedure. That's the most we got kind of post-draft process last year at this time. So he's getting back into shape, and you saw kind of that was a slow burn until late in the season. Then he kind of you started to see some glimpses, some flashes in the 4 sacks, 6 QB hits, in the 5 TFLs. He's going to have to double those. Like in order for this defense to overachieve, like BJ Ojulari has to be the guy that everybody thinks he can be. It's so key.
I think they do think he's going to take that step too, because they really didn't add anybody through the offseason, right? I mean, I think it was you that asked that question yesterday to JG. Said, hey, you guys didn't do a whole lot with your edge group. You seem to really like him. JG was like, yeah, I believe in Zaven Collins, who's moving into his second year as an edge player. BJ Ojulari moving into his second year. And like you pointed out, he really picked up steam at the end of the season. Yeah. It's like, okay, you had the tools, and he was looked at as more of maybe like a developmental guy. He wasn't ready to, come in and expected to get double-digit sacks his first season. We've seen it. The tools are there. Like I said, you've had a full off season. Let's see it uptick just a little bit more. Yeah. I think you said it best, Bo. If this defense is going to hit the next level, Ojulari's got to be a big part of that.
It's going to have to be a big part. His teammate, his pass rush buddy, Gardeck, we asked him yesterday about BJ Ojulari. We asked him about Zaven Collins, but this is what he had to say about BJ.
BJ, his true year 2 from rookie to his second year, you can see that jump of the game is starting to slow down. He looks more comfortable. He's not as tunnel vision. What's my job? It's okay. I'm seeing the formation. I'm seeing things that are going on. I've been here before, and it's been an explosive kind of jump. It's really exciting. It's cool to be in a room with him.
That's the adjective I wanted to hear from Dennis Gardeck. Yep. Explosive jump, and that's because you didn't see a whole lot of it on display rookie year. For him to kind of just describe him, go, he's been explosive this year. That's huge for the Cardinals. And
I think it's only going to get better with all of the depth they've added along the defensive line, and even Mack Wilson being added as that other interior linebacker. There's dudes on this defense now. There are other very capable bodies, which hopefully will free up a little bit. And you know what? Is Zaven can really get going on that other side, he's going to get even more opportunity.
Yeah, and that was a 2-part answer from Gardeck about Ojulari and then Zaven, and I see people in the chat talking about Zaven and saying, I mean, Animal TV here is saying 10 sacks from each BJ and Zaven, and just as Gardeck perfectly described what you wanted to hear about Ojulari, he also said what you wanted to hear about Zaven Collins. This is what Dennis Gardeck had to say about his pass rush buddy, Zaven Collins. Why I keep on calling him his pass rush buddy? I don't know. But here's what he said.
And then Zaven's somebody different where he already had experience. He knows everything that he's looking at. Coverage-wise is great. Seeing him cut it loose and just you get to, because I kind of did the inside to outside transition as well. You're not as responsible for quite as much, When you're off the ball, you got to make guys right. Being able to explain to him, hey, you got somebody to make you right. Go set your hair on fire and enjoy kind of the freedom of being up on the line. You get to be more aggressive, and you got people behind you that are gonna, if something does happen, they can fix it. So seeing him take that, because he's a big dude, man, and when he just goes, there's no stopping him. So it's cool to see.
That's the biggest key for Zaven. Like, you see the physical traits, you see the athleticism. Sometimes, like, between the years, like when if he can go out there and just react, I think he's going to be the best version of himself. But if he's like, this is what the tackle's throwing at me, I've got to be here technique wise, or this is where I have to be on the field, or maybe second guessing that. Like, if he's just not out there reacting, he gets a hat put on a hat.
For a guy who had the green dot whenever he played middle linebacker, I get it. Because when you play middle linebacker, you are tasked with organizing everybody, getting everybody lined up, seeing what the offense looks like, making sure all the chess pieces are correct on the board before the ball snap. You're processing so much information while also relaying it to other people. In a loud stadium, with your coach in a headset giving you two separate calls based on what the offense is going to do. And I think Dennis said it back, you got to pin your ears back and you got to go, man. And I think if Zaven is able to kind of just like take that vantage point of, okay, I'm not responsible for everybody. I'm not seeing the entire field. I am responsible for this side of the field. Here's what I'm looking at: the quarterback, the running back in the backfield. He's obviously strong. He's obviously quick. The Cardinals love that about him. And even after a down year, bro, they were still like, we really like this guy. Even big things are going to be in store for year 2. But I think you put it best. Sometimes you got to shut it off and go play football, man. You hear so many people talk about, if you can just play and let your instincts take over, more times than not, you're going to be successful. Yeah,
and it's going to be huge for Zaven. Like, can he get to a spot? And it's asking a lot for somebody. And Gardeck even mentioned that in his quote, saying he was an inside guy who went outside in the linebacker position. It was a primary. Now he's a primary pass rusher. That it takes quite a bit off your plate, and you can just focus and be kind of narrow focus as far as what you are doing on any given down. And we still see though, Zaven Collins is out there with Coach Rod and Nick Rawlis during the open portion of OTAs, working one-on-one. So they are putting all their efforts into getting him up to speed. And it's just, that's a testament to what they believe Zaven Collins can be. Sure. And they know he's a worthy investment. Obviously, they declined his 5th-year option, but there's still a big belief in Collins within the organization. I think front office down to the coaching staff.
No, absolutely. I think the 5th-year option was more of a business thing.
For sure.
More than anything. I don't think they were comfortable paying him, what was it, 13
to 14 million.
Yeah, somewhere around there for 2025. I would much rather, if I'm Monty Austin Fort, the Arizona Cardinals, I would love to pay him that if he can show the price of admission is going to be worth it.
No doubt about it. There was some clown takes out there, believe it or not, about Marvin Harrison Jr. It's so simple. It would be so simple to just look at the tape and think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a stud, but it's apparently not that easy for some. We'll get into that, but I got to tell all of our friends out there about a great thing going on with our friends over at OGs. Okay. If you learned about OGs today. If you don't know what OGs is out there, if you're listening, if you're watching, well, OGs Brands is Arizona's cannabis kitchen. It's cooking up all the delicious gummies. They're delicious, and they're also soft and chewy, everything you want, and it's going to create the cannabis experience that you've been seeking out. If you're looking for something to maybe kick back and relax with, or maybe hit the trails and hike with, very different experiences, OGs is going to be able to cater to any of those. Plus, if you're having a tough time getting to sleep, staying asleep, they've got the Sleep Time Gummy. Check out their full product line, ogsbrands.com, OGEEZ brands.com. They got the big OGs. They got the naturals, which are vegan friendly. They've got the fruits. They've got the creams. They've got the happy balance. Don't miss out on all the great products over at OG's. Follow them on your socials at OG's Brands. Got to be 21 years or older, and you can find them in your local dispensary. Also, we've got our friends over at Circle K. I had the gas light come up on my car.
Oh, that's worst.
And just rolled in. It feels like every corner here in the valley, you got a Circle K. You can jump in there, and when you're filling up your tank, you just jump into Circle K, America's Thirst Shop, and you get yourself Polar Pop freezer for just 79 cents. This is how you can tap into that deal. You become an Inner Circle member. It's a free membership program. All you do is download the Circle K app today, and you'll start saving at the pump immediately. Your first 5 fill-ups, 25 cents off per fill-up, plus 3 cents per gallon after that. I've actually hit a new echelon. It's 5 cents per gallon, Donnie. If you haven't gotten in it, you're just wasting money. You're just burning money. Get in right now. Enjoy your member-exclusive beverage deal, 79 cents through September 3rd at any Arizona location. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms, conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Yeah, Jess, it's Johnny's favorite hot dogs right there, Circle K.
You got me ready to run through a wall right now, man.
Yeah, of course.
I'm hyped.
That's what we're trying to get people to be fired up about Circle K.
Get fired up, taking OGs, and relax.
And you thought like on April, was it April 26th? Was that the day of the first round of the draft, April 25th?
25th.
Yeah, 25th. That's why you're here. Keep me up to date, factual as far as this program goes. They make the selection. They hold the line, Damon. They take Marvin Harrison Jr., 4th overall. And you think, okay, there you go. They did it. They took, one of the new faces of the franchise, a guy that's star ready, coming from an NFL factory in Ohio State. Dad's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
You see the tape. This guy's going to be good. And then, you open up Twitter and, I'm seeing articles from Draft Wire. I'm seeing this guy, Sam Sherman, who covers football and says even if Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best wide receiver prospect in the last decade, he's still a suboptimal pick in the late first, early second of best ball drafts. I mean, what are we doing here? Why do we have to take a positive and turn it into a negative when it comes to somebody like Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I think we're at the point where you need content, right? And you got to find something. And almost similar to the scouting process. When you're going through these guys, you got to find some good, you got to find some bad. And if you go to somebody and you're like, hey, I need a scouting report, and you say, I can't find anything on Marv, right? It's like, no, you need to do your job. You need to do your due diligence. But, you talk about a stretch. I think that probably qualifies as that.
Yeah, that's a stretch. You've got Draft Wire putting out an article. Will Marvin Harrison Jr. be a problem for the Cardinals? I think the article is like, will Marvin Harrison Jr. be a problem for the rest of the NFL?
He will be.
Yeah. I mean, it writes itself. You look at the tape, you look at the numbers, 28 touchdowns over the last 2 seasons. He's quarterback proof. He plays with a really good quarterback in CJ Stroud. He plays with pretty mid quarterback in Kyle McCord. Still produces, still puts up big games. I mean, we got guys coming in here. Like the quote of this one is, the same cannot be said for prospects who buck the system, so to speak. No matter how talented a player is, their focus has to be on football. Could all of the other agenda and plan impact his play on the field? Only time will tell. That's from Draft Wire, speaking about Marvin Harrison Jr. and his unique pre-draft process, how he decided to kind of opt out of the NFL Draft Combine. You were there with us where he wasn't at the podium. He just did interviews with a couple teams, right? Yep. And then he didn't work out at his pro day. But like Marvin Harrison Jr. knew that he had done enough on the field for Ohio State that he could only damage his draft stock. And to 100%. Say that that's a red flag and to say or question, does this guy love ball? If you just do a little bit of research where you hear what went into making those decisions. And we heard from Senior and we heard from Junior himself, where they did the math. They just projected, there's 3 quarterback hungry teams at the top of the draft. Like the best they could do is 4. Then what are they doing? And then Marvin Harrison Jr. himself is saying he wants to avoid the rookie wall. And Albert Brewer's reporting he wants to use this time instead of trying to put his focus into performing the best at the combine or his pro day, he wants to put those efforts towards the team that drafts him and you play in September.
Super smart. And then also to point out, Albert Breer had reported last Ohio State pro day, not this one, but the one prior, there was a lot of chatter that, hey, if you want to get a good look at Marvin Harrison Jr., you better look at him now because this guy's probably not going to do these things next year. And for somebody who was in Indianapolis waiting at that podium like we were for him not to speak, whatever. I think everything was calculated. I have no reservations about what Marvin Harrison Jr. did. Like you said, though, there was no point in him going through the circus that is the NFL Combine because he didn't need to. His spot, effectively, we didn't know from the outside, but internally, the Cardinals knew they were going Marvin Harrison Jr. or a giant slew of draft picks the entire time. Since the moment Matt Prater got word that the Marvin Harrison Jr. jerseys were printed and he missed those 2 kicks against the Seahawks in the last week of the year, Marv has been the guy, right?
Yeah.
Marv has been the guy. I have no issues with him. And but for people who were face to face with him, he's all football.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison Jr. just wants to play football. And I think he is so ready to actually get on the field, leave all of this behind him, leave the fanatic stuff behind him, leave whatever draft prep talk behind him, and actually go show himself and what he can do.
Because of him being a little mum, a little silent, it's just who he is. He's very like Kyler Murray, where he doesn't like being in the public eye in front of a microphone answering questions. He wants to go out there and compete. That's what he wants to do. And then people kind of take that without having, a news cycle where you've got consistent quotes from the guy as, okay, well, we don't know a whole lot, so we're just going to jump to our own conclusions of why this happened. Even though, like I said, you just do your research and you'll find out that this guy, like you said, all he's gearing his efforts towards is being the best player on Sundays for the Arizona Cardinals.
Both Monty Austinfort and Jonathan Gannon said that they were thoroughly impressed with his plan during the pre-draft process and just overall had great takeaways from his ultimate decision to do what was best for him. And I think with the Hall of Fame farther with Marvin Harrison Sr., who had already been through the ringer, knows what it takes, I'm willing to take his input over maybe a guy like me who sits behind a computer and writes words.
It's interesting. Like, you don't see any negative Malik Neighbors stories out there.
There were a couple, not too many. I mean, but there were a couple.
Like there were so many stories pre-draft, and probably because it was draft fatigue. But it was, is Marvin Harrison Jr. wide receiver 1 in this class, or is it Malik Neighbors? And then you start to see Neighbors, and he gets selected by the Giants at 6 overall, and it's like, has he said anything positive about his organization? Like, I don't know.
He didn't seem too happy to play with Daniel Jones.
But
I will say that.
But there's no Malik. Maybe I'm wrong and ill-informed on this, but like, is there any stories where it's saying, hey, is Malik Neighbors going to be a problem for the Giants, or could Rome Odunze be a problem for the Bears? Like, those stories aren't written.
I don't think so. Nope.
But it's because Odunze, he's a great quote. He really is. Like, he crushed it at the combine. There's reports that he was unbelievable during his team interviews. But, with Marvin, who's so just
he's shy,
locked in.
He's
shy.
legit shy.
He's a shy guy. I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised by how much he opened up to us when we talked to him, like on his introductory press conference, because I wasn't even expecting that much just from the little I'd seen. But him and Senior, I thought were great. Had solid, logical, answers for just how they took the approach from January on.
No, I'd agree.
Donnie Donut saying, Donnie, what kind of donut should I F up right now on my lunch? Any suggestions?
The wife is a big fan of the chocolate glaze, so I would go with that.
Your wife likes chocolate glazed donuts? Okay, so you're going with that suggestion. What's Donnie Donuts himself? What's his favorite?
You know what? Who can go wrong with a good glazed donut?
Just glazing over some glaze for Donnie Donuts. He loves it, man. We got, how about Andy saying, my opinion is MSJ is the hardest worker in Arizona. It must have been MHJ, Carl, because everyone's hope is on him. Sure, there's high expectations for Marvin Harrison Jr., kind of usher in his draft class of 12 players to kind of continue to trend this organization in the right direction. Shafe saying, look at D-Hop, had 160 targets with Kyler, so why can't MHJ get 175? He has an extra game to do it. That would mean at least 1,400 yards. I think that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to put up some big numbers. I do. I think 1,400 yards, like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson got, his I guess rookie predecessors of sorts.
Sure.
Top rookies. They kind of did it out of necessity for their organization, who were more pass first. I think just the way that the Arizona Cardinals want to just approach their offense, they want to establish the run, and that's going to take away some targets potentially. And then, like what we talked about earlier with McBride, with Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch. I mean, I think Kyler is going to be more than willing to spread the football around. I mean, I think there'll be a handful of games where he'll reach double-digit targets, but
sure,
I don't know if that's going to be consistent.
No, there's a lot of wealth to the spread in Arizona's offense. And, maybe a guy like Jamar was targeted maybe out of necessity more times not, like you had pointed out. Marv isn't walking into that situation. And I'm almost glad that he isn't, because he doesn't need to be that guy. There's still very capable pass catchers, including the tight end of McBride, that can kind of carry the load and shoulder that load while he finds his feet. And, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a tremendous talent. I'm sure he's going to hit the ground running, but I mean, he's still going to be a rookie. He's still going to have to figure out what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
He's not going to go for 202 touchdowns every game.
Yeah. I mean, you'll see it though. I mean, he's gonna have some breakout performances.
Absolutely.
And we're all gonna love it, and it's gonna be great to watch unfold before our very eyes. And it's gonna be great that it's gonna either be in the icy white robes or the black alternates or the red home uniforms. Regardless, it's gonna be in a Cardinals uniform. So it's really exciting for Cardinals fans to be able to watch a player the caliber of Marvin Harrison Jr. The article about could he be a Cardinals problem was from Curtis Popejoy. I always like to, when I see these, like some of the Cardinals stuff or Kyler Murray stuff that we saw pre-draft, like the Cardinals should trade Kyler Murray for draft picks and something ridiculous
awful.
like that. You don't even have to dive that deep. You just click on like a Twitter profile and it says like, I cover high school football in Indiana, and you're like, okay, I understand this guy doesn't know what he's talking about with the Cardinals or Kyler Murray.
Even outlets like ESPN were kind of floating that Kyler Murray trade stuff
right
out, though.
I mean, it's all for clicks, no doubt about it. But like Curtis, the writer of this particular article, he covers the Steelers,
right?
So there's so many people that cover this team closer. I just don't understand why, if they've got somebody who is ill-informed, why they give him that platform.
Yeah, so I'm coming on my third year of full-time coverage here, fourth year total.
Yeah.
It is very, very clear the national media does not pay very close attention to the Arizona Cardinals, and I get it. Like, the Cardinals are not on everybody's TV every week. They're not on 6 primetime games like some other teams are.
Yeah.
But I think just watching this team and being in the locker room, getting the overall vibes of what this team is going to be like moving into 2024, there's going to be a lot of shocked people.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. It was like when there was reports from Pro Football Network last year, early, like September, that the Cardinals, there was this word salad. Like the Cardinals were privately discussing sitting down Kyler Murray for the entire season.
That never made sense.
Never made sense.
Even if they wanted to trade him, that never made sense.
No, not at all. And you look at who was reporting it, and it's like primarily covers Santa Monica State. And you're like, oh, and you've got insight over, the top NFL newsbreakers. You've got insight over the people that cover this team day to day.
That was disrespectful, Bo. He covered the Niners, the Seahawks,
right,
the San Jose State, Santa Clara, Fresno State, Boise State.
Right.
Like he covered like 30 teams, and like 95% of them were like Mountain West schools.
Right. And he was dialed in somehow. He had one key source within the Cardinals organization that was privately maybe discussing Kyler Murray sitting down the entire season, and then the Cardinals, trading. I mean, that was what the speculation. It was ridiculous. And now with another big name, and I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a polarizing subject, not nearly as polarizing as Kyler Murray has become, and rightfully or unrightfully so, mostly unrightfully. Like it's pretty crazy, but it's an overwhelming positive that I don't understand how people can turn into a negative. That's where I'm just scratching my head.
Nope, I 100% agree.
Great stuff from the chat. We have some super chats in here.
Yeah. We got one.
Okay, one from Saint Shitbag jumping back in, 199. Zaza mentality is not shitbag mafia approved. Which one was that?
The Zaza mentality was, I believe, here from Donnie Donuts, who said that is not winning mentality. That is Zaza mentality.
Got it.
I can't tell if I'm welcome back or not.
Yeah, you're welcome back. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. We love it. We love it from
I'd
Saint
say
Shitbag.
the chat loves you, Donnie.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Donnie Donuts is a hit here. Drop a like here on this video. We appreciate any of the love you guys can give us. And of course, check out Donnie's great work over at si.com. What's the easiest way? You could just follow him on Twitter at Donnie Druin.
Yeah.
He's churning out great content there. Just like me at practice, he's putting out practice videos as well. He's giving you clips from the presser. He's up on YouTube as well. So check out Donnie Druin. He'll send out the links on a daily basis, just like the stuff we do over PHNX Sports. We talked about the 18 collection. I'd be remiss. We got to talk about it again. Love the 3 shorts that we've unveiled here that you can find right now. The PHNX Locker Maserati Marv shirt. Yep. You've got the MHJ t-shirt, and then you've got the math t-shirt. 1 + 18 = 6. That's right. Finding themselves in the end zone. Get 1 or all 3 of these t-shirts now. PHNX Locker. They are shipping here shortly. Early June is when they're going to ship out. And you're going to be able to wear these proudly. I can't wait for mine to show up. We love it. Also, we are going to take a little bit of a field trip this year. We're going to head to Miami. April 26th, the Arizona Cardinals are taking on the Miami Dolphins. That's right. Tua v. Kyler Murray, Mike McDaniel, Jonathan Gannon, a battle of wits going on.
Tyreek,
That's
Jalen Waddle,
right.
Jalen Ramsey.
Who the hell are going to cover those guys? But we'll figure that out between now and then. We're going to figure it out between now and October 25th. That's when we are wheels up. We are taking a flight to Miami. You can be on that plane as well. Get out there. We have teamed up with our friends over at True Fan Travel. They're going to take care of everything. And when I say that, like, that's not just hyperbole. This is everything that you need to get this trip done. You got tickets, the plane tickets. They're going to get you to and from Miami. You got transportation from the airport to the hotel, which is also taken care of. So you got room and board. We've got a couple just different parties going on in True, including, is it a booze cruise? Is that fair to call it?
That was what Johnny has been marketing it as recently, I guess.
Yeah, we got a booze cruise going on. We've got tailgating. We've got transportation to and from the game. We got tickets to the game. I mean, anything you can think of, True Fan Travel, truefantravel.com has thought of and taken care of for you. You can try to do it yourself. You can try to figure out, your road trip to any of the Arizona Cardinals away games this season. But once it all starts to add up. We've got ticket packages starting at what, $12.99? Can't wait for that. Check in right now, truefantravel.com. Get in on our field trip. This is going to be the greatest event PHNX has put on, and we put on a lot of great ones already. We had the NHL draft last year in Nashville. We had our draft party. It was great hanging out with all of you out there. Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. But you're not going to want to miss out on our road trip to the Arizona Cardinals take on the Miami Dolphins on October 27th. Get there 25th with us, leave on the 28th with our friends over at True Fan Travel, truefantravel.com.
Don't forget about my wedding as well.
That's right. We're gonna wife up Damon out there.
Okay. Yeah. Damon, are you looking for anything particular?
Yeah, I mean, I think, basically everything Miami has to offer is pretty much essentially what I'm going for there.
Big dog.
Now, if you meet the future Mrs. Dawg there, are you gonna stay there? Or is she coming back to the valley? Are you guys gonna be long term?
Those are logistics we're gonna have to work out. But ideally, this program is my priority in life. I can't leave this chat, all the great people of this program. So,
I mean, it would be your second marriage. I mean, first you're married to the grind.
Yeah, to the game. Yeah, absolutely.
In the game. All one and the same. And then you would be married to your future wife that we're going to identify out there during this road trip. It's going to be fantastic. Like it's going to be beautiful first and foremost to see that.
Yeah.
And then also potentially get a big dub on the road. Jonathan Gannon here, Kyler Murray. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. You don't want to miss it. Yeah, Ryan Damon is married to the game. Damon's married to the bag from our guy Marv.
What's Operation Talk to Women? What is that?
Donnie needs to know about Operation Talk to Women. I mean, that's how we're gonna kind of get this spark going. We're gonna get.
I think I coined that when we were first talking about me getting married. I was saying Operation Talk to Women is definitely the play there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, it can't get better than a Miami destination wedding. It really doesn't. Feet on the sand. Meet us out there. The whole wedding party is just going to be the fine folks of this program that make their way out there.
DJ Khaled in the back on the jet ski.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We the best.
Linen, just draped in linen from head to toe. I mean, that seems like that's the look.
Absolutely. Like a nice cream color linen.
Right. Shafe saying, Damon, do you speak Spanish? You better. You're looking for the missus in Miami.
I more or less. I could speak a little bit. Más o menos.
You do habla. Brett saying, that's Dawg. You set the priorities. And Jessica saying, someone hide Johnny Venerable's loafers. God, hopefully that gets lost.
Yeah, he already said he's bringing it on the boat cruise.
Yeah, I think his poor wife is having to endure him wearing them on their current vacation. But look, we are pumped about this trip. Make sure you lock in your spot today. You can find more details right now. Go PHNX.com. We've got a couple tweets out there too at PHNX_Cardinals. You can find the full details of our road trip to Miami to see the Cardinals take on the Dolphins. Don't want to miss out on that. Drop a like on this video. Thanks for everybody hanging out with us and welcoming Donnie Druin to the PHNX Cardinals community. It's been a blast. Donnie, where can they find all your great work?
Yeah, Donnie Druin on Twitter, or as the cool kids call it, X, and then si.com/NFL/Cardinals and si.com/NBA/Suns.
Perfect. Make sure you're following at PHNX_Cardinals, following our guy, Damon, Dawg, follow me, Brack. We're keeping you in the loop. All things Cardinals. Got some crazy roster rankings we're going to get into tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. If you're listening, wherever you find podcasts, give us a 5-star rating. Give us a review. It does wonders for this program, getting us in front of in more ears listening to this show. Thanks to everybody. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Barring any breaking news, we'll talk to you Thursday afternoon right here on PHNX Cards.
We all silly like the mayor.